All right, folks, now you saw what I built. Now let's start building it. I'm gonna start up by ripping, I got 2 sheets of 3/8 exterior sanded plywood. Got these for about 16 bucks. I don't know if that's a deal or not. And it's not really 3/8, it's, what do they call this? They call it 11/32. So, and I'm gonna rip it on my little Grizzly table saw, folks. I owe you folks like a 6-month review of this thing. This has been, worth every penny. I love this thing. It really works nice. That soft start on there saved me a million times. I'm not really 100% hooked up down here. I need to get an electrician in yet, so I'm running everything kind of off extension cords, and without that soft start on there, I'm sure I would have popped numerous breakers on this. So let's set up. Let's get a All right, plywood's cut. I'm gonna have 3 shelves here. They're gonna be 8 foot. If anything, I might just round those corners that'll be on the outside so no one gets hurt running into it. But top shelf's gonna be at 6 foot, so I've got some 8 foot, some true 8 foot 2x4s from the Home Depot. And we're just gonna be cutting those 6 feet, just using, I've had this DeWalt forever. And it's a smaller one. I always talk about upgrading, but I don't. And I've got this miter saw stand from Bora that I did a review on also about 6 months ago. And this is not something that's, you know, heavy duty for the work site. This is perfect for the home hobbyist. You took this on a construction site, it would be bent up in probably, you know, a day or 2, or maybe even less. I've had a bunch of people tell me that, but it does work nice. I love the height of it because I'm a taller guy, and you can use one end as a stop. So we'll get the cutting. All right, so I got the 3 uprights cut, and then I've got 6 because I'm gonna have 3 shelves, and then, you know, times. So you got 18 there, and those are gonna go on these. Oh, look at that. I'll show you how we'll do that. Super simple. All right, I'm getting a little ahead of you here. So I took that half sheet of 3/8 that I had left. I ripped it down into 2 11-inch pieces, and then ripped it into 11-inch square, and then we cut a 45. Just used the table saw, and we left 3.5 inches for our 2x4 here and here. And now we're taking our scrap piece that we cut off, and we're putting that onto the back side, and that'll be somewhat of a shoulder to sit on a 2x4 here. I'll show you what we're doing here. I hope you can see this. So this is how it's going to go, just like that. So we're flipping this upside down like that, taking one of my 45s that I cut off, and then that is going on here. I'm gluing it, and then I'm using just some pin nails to put it in. Super simple. I'm using, if you're wondering what kind, I'm using just some 1/2-inch pin nails. That'll just hold the glue until the glue gets hard. The glue gives you all the strength. All right, show you how I do when I got the glue on there. Just flip it up like this. Then I'm going to use 2 2x4s as a gauge, because I want that shoulder in there, and I don't want it real tight, just like that. And then I put another 2x4 here and it's kind of square it up. You can use a square too if you want. I was doing that at first, but I found this is probably the best way of doing it. And then just and that's it. So that's how it's going to look when it's done. All right, putting the brackets on are relatively simple since now you've laid it out and got everything right where you want it. Glue, folks, and then just set it like that. Get your 2x4 nice and anchored in there. And then I've got 1 1/8" crown staples there that I'll just shoot in. And then for overkill, I'm gonna put in 4 of these legs, 1/4 inch triple coated legs, these things, and that ain't going nowhere. All right, so there's our 3 frames all made up. I had to go run a bunch of errands, so they've been sitting there for about, it's been about 3 hours. Got them sort of glue and dry and set up and everything, but let's start working on the bottoms. Remember, I want this to be an open-ended style of shelves, so there's nothing in front of you to, prohibit, and I want them to be freestanding. So let's get to working on that. All right, let's explain what's going on here. So like I keep on saying, this is going to be a freestanding shelf, open-ended shelf. So one side is open, and so I got to make the legs or the feet for this thing to stand on. So what I've done is I've gone 6 inches wider on that side, 6 inches wider on this side. It's 36 inches. Cut it. See, I put a cleat on there, and then I've got screws and glue, and I got a 4-inch legs that I've impacted in here, and then got a angle piece there, cut a 45s glues, and then 2.5 inch impact. Once again, I'm using this stuff to go in there, and that ain't gonna go anywhere. So we'll get the other 2 done, and then we'll show how we're gonna start tying them all together. All right, so now you should be getting a better idea of what we're doing there. I've got all 3 of them built. Now it's time to start joining them up. Like I said, so far, super simple to do, and I think it's going to work just fine. If you're wondering on 2x4s so far, I bought 12 8-footers, and this is 6, and I got 6 to go. So I don't know if I'm going to use them all up, but we'll give it our best shot. All right, so there's what we're doing going across the backs. See, I'm using some plywood again, so I can get those nice triangles in there. But those are going to be going on the back of those, and with glue and some screws. So get those 3 laid out and get them on there. All right, so there's a better idea what it looks laying down. But we've got all that on there, glues and screws, folks. This thing ain't going anywhere. And the power of the triangle. That's what we're relying on here. So let's get it stood up, and we're gonna let this dry overnight, the glue and everything, and then we're gonna finish it up tomorrow. All right, there it is, standing up, an old man. It ain't going nowhere, folks. Get the plywood on there. I am gonna probably put a little bit more 2x4 in between each one of those where the plywood's gonna go, just because it's only that 3/8 plywood, so I don't want to have any sagging. But that'll really, I mean, it's rigid right now, and you put that plywood on there with some glues and screws, and it's plenty rigid for anything, folks. So keep on watching. All right, it's next day. I got going already. Give you a couple look-sees. First thing I did this morning was shot screws at an angle, and just get this a little bit more, another way of securing it here. And then what I'm doing is I talked about putting those 2x4s at the top, which I'm just cutting, and then you can see we're screwing into place. I messed around with using my Craig jig. The waste, those and Craig jig screws are expensive, and plus I was shooting them in the same spot as I had screws on the other side, so frustration level was high. But it's so much more easier when you're using just 2x4s, just to take one of those legs and shoot in from the other side, and that's what I'm going to do on the rest of them. I am going to put in the center post only. I think I'm going to put a 45 on both sides, one here and one there, and that'll really tighten this thing up as if it needed it. If you're wondering what 2x4 situation is looking like, I'm down to just scraps. So we're at that 12, and I'm going to use the scraps to do those 45s, and we'll get that plywood on. All right, you can see we're putting in these angles here, and this is what really stiffens it up. So these are at the end. I'm putting 2 in the middle, on the top and the bottom, and then on the middle one, I'm putting them in the end. I'm just using these legs. I tell you what, that ain't going nowhere. Well, I'm ready for plywood. I have been accused in the past of overbuilding, and I don't know, this is one of those cases. But anyway, we're going to start putting the plywood on. I've got it down there. I'm going to round the outside corners a little bit, and then on the one side, I am going to cut a notch so it overhangs by a foot. So I'm going to cut a notch in all 3 of them, and that'll be for some standing wood storage. Instead of laying it, you could stand alongside. So I'll give you a look-see as we get going with that. All right, plywood's on. shop is cleaned up. And all I did with put the plywood on is just 4 of these 1.25" spacks into each board. So there's 12 in each one. 12 times 3 is 36, and ain't going nowhere. So we got some primer and some paint, 1 coat of each, and we should be done. Maybe 2 of the final. We'll see what it looks like. All right, folks, there's the last look, and everything's done and painted, and I'm just waiting on things to dry. But I'll tell you what, this was easy to do. 12 2x4, 2x4x8s, 2 sheets of 3/8 plywood, and about 12 hours. Obviously, if you're better than I, you probably do it a lot less. But I was also kind of making this up as I went along. So this is my impression of a freestanding, open-ended shelving unit that I'm going to use in my shop for storing wood and other stuff. So hope you enjoyed this. Tom Horseman at YouTube. Don't forget, please subscribe. And as always, leave a comment, thumbs up. Thanks for watching. All right, folks, so the paint's been applied. I cleaned all the wood out of that area and put it in there. And of course, I have to do some modifications right away. So what I wanted to do is put some dividers in there so I can, because I keep all my smaller scrap, so I can kind of stack it up or lean it into there. So I did that. And then I've got those openings in there that I put some cleats on, and I got a piece of plywood that fits perfectly in there. And I'm just going to paint that gray also, and then get it in there. Then I have to call it done because I keep on adding stuff to this. But I'll give you one last, I tell you what, we'll make this the end right here. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this open-ended freestanding shelf, wood storage shelf, and for me, it turned out really nice. And we're gonna get stacking wood on there as soon as I get that other piece done. Folks, I appreciate you watching. Thank you.